Hello, welcome back everyone. This is Aluminum Tarot. Thanks so much for joining as always. I am here to do the reading now for Cancer, Sun, Moon and Rising for this period in November until a month later, so crossing into December. So basically mid-November to December. We're going to start with the basic 3 rules here. We will talk about rule number 1. If you like what you see here on this channel, please be sure to give a like, share, subscribe, ding the notification bell, leave a comment below as to how this pertains to your specific life. And secondly, please follow number 1. And additionally, if you would like to chuck a few quid into the PayPal account located in the description box, feel free to do so as well. Covers the cost of a coffee, whatever. To your heart's desire. And number 3, please protect the tarot community and all of the hardworking people some people are actually making a living doing this type of stuff on YouTube. So protect their channels by blocking and reporting anyone spamming, talking about, well, I didn't realize my power of manifestation until I read such and such book by, such and such person. It really changed my life, and it's just a bunch of bullshit, basically. Anyways, block those people, report them, so that way their spammy accounts can kick rocks. We're going to use the PG-13 word for that. Anyways, Cancer, you're up for this part of today's reading. I've already shuffled the cards. I've been using the Steampunk Tarot and the Steampunk Lenormand, which is the complementary Oracle deck for this particular reading. I love these 2 decks. They're my absolute favorite. First off, we have, with your reading, we have the Knight of Wands in the reverse. So this is a person who is, it can be a multitude of things. It can be being rootless, aimless, wondering about, not wondering about the future or not caring about the future, being a bit impulsive. Sometimes it can even, for some people, be a failure to take any action and just being stuck and stagnant. Because the Knight of Wands moves towards their desires, their passions, their goals, even if those change intermittently throughout their life. In your situation, the energy that I'm getting here is a bit of a wandering rootlessness to your life and what has been taking place. And the reason why I say that is because the Ace of Pentacles is actually the card that is your challenge. So what it says is that you need the new start, the new opportunity to create a foundation for something. Well, it's almost like you're taking that pentacle and you're saying, you know what, I'll throw that in the dog pile right there and just burn everything. Not really concerned about planting seeds or, creating a foundation of success for my life in the future. It's almost like a rejection of that to a degree, or it could just be a failure to recognize that. In the recent past, you have the King of Cups. King of Cups is very articulate with their emotions, very understanding. They can keep calm in the storm of all of life's events. And for them, they're able to navigate those storms with certainty while everything around them is kind of going tits up, basically. In your situation and in your case, what I see is that you're moving... What's coming to me is like it's almost like you're moving away from a difficult situation, and now you're just kind of wanting to be unattached, unabated, and rootless, groundless. I'm going to clarify this just to give a little bit more understanding. So with the King of Cups, you got the Knight of Cups. So that is what's clarifying that card. This is almost like a journey to find yourself, a journey to explore who you are after a period of which things were a bit stagnant, or maybe there was a difficult situation that you went through and that now you're trying to say, okay, you know what, let's just do our own thing. Moving into the future, you have the Moon card in the reverse and the Two of Swords in the reverse. It's a firm decision to finally get that aha moment. I feel things are being revealed to you as you go throughout this journey. Even in this card here, you have the Moon as the destination here. You're taking that journey towards the moon, towards the illumination of self. And it's almost to me like whatever it is that you moved away from prevented you from being able to explore that. Or maybe you felt that it prevented you from exploring that. And now, as you take this journey and you set sail, you're getting more decisive, clear, and more grounded about the things that make up who you are, who determine your qualities and your characteristics, your personality, and all of that. Hell, it could even be related to sexuality. And, I think that whatever it is that you are exploring, you're learning this through the interactions that you have along this pathway. And I think this, for you, is what is giving you a sense of purpose and a sense of fulfillment. Because what I see at the root of all of this, it is the Sun in the reverse and the nine of Wands in the upright. So I remember, I think it was Aries that had the Sun in the reverse and the Nine of Wands in the reverse. That was a complete giving up on the situation, whereas you kind of have like partially giving up on everything. You have the Sun in the reverse, you're unhappy about what took place. But Nine of Wands in the upright, you are fighting to continue. You're feeling wounded, but you are persevering through the difficulties and to the stars. Per aspera ad astra, as the Latin phrase says, from the difficulties to the stars. And I see more of this here because you have in your energy where you speak about what you are consciously aware of is you have the Chariot and you have the King of Swords in the reverse. Now, if it just pertains to you, it's like you're moving forward without a plan. The King of Swords is a master of the intellect. In the reverse, it can be a narcissistic person, a person who plays a lot of mind games. It could also be a person who doesn't think clearly or rationally. Now, I see you, what this indicates to me, I see you rapidly moving away from a King of Swords in the reverse. Person who is quite narcissistic, difficult to deal with, overbearing, wanted to control the situation at all costs. And you're finally triumphing over this individual, and you're moving forward into the next phase of your life, which is leaving the city of the familiar territory in which you lived in, and now moving towards that strength, and then to the hermit phase where you are able to reflect. And I feel self-reflection permeates this entire reading. And what it tells me is that, after being controlled for so long, your identity takes on that other individual. And now that you are free from that, it's like you have to rediscover yourself all over again. It's like being reborn, fresh out of the womb. What am I? Who am I? And how am I going to make sense of this life? Now, moving towards the future, you have the Four of Cups, and you also have the Justice. Perhaps in your case, it could go several ways. Perhaps in your case, you say to yourself, I am rejecting any forms of marriage or commitment from here on out. And it's because of the complete lack of identity that you had in the past. In order to bring balance, it's almost like you swing to the other extreme where it's like no more commitments, no more nonsense, no more contractual agreements. However, in another sense, you could say that, I don't know, something. It's like with the Four of Cups. A person who is in the Four of Cups energy, they have had multiple disappointments in their life. This is something I think that Minopon talks about quite a bit. but you've had multiple disappointments in your life, and you've had 3 of them, and then there's a 4th cup that's offered to you from the universe, and you're just kind of like, you know what? No, no, screw that. I'm not going to get involved in this again, and I'm going to take my time out so that I can get balance in my own heart and my own mind. Now, with what I'm getting from seeing these 2, you're kind of having a sit out. In order for you to become more balanced, justice, you have to sit this one out and contemplate your own life. Because the 4 of Cups is also a number 4, therefore it is a card of stability. In order for you to stabilize your emotions, you have to get a sense of balance as to what you should be letting in your life and what you should not. At this particular time, it could be that commitments and commitments of any kind are difficult for you for right now. So it's one of those things that you'll best avoid, as much as possible. If it is the sense that in order for you to deal with karmic issues from the past, you're kind of having to sit with those karmic, mistakes or things that have taken place, or even the positive, accolades that you've achieved karmically from whatever has taken place in the past. So if you've been a good person and you did try, then it's important for you to recognize that karma. And it's like about sitting with that, understanding and contemplating that, very similarly to the Hermit. But this is on a more emotional scale rather than with the Hermit, which is a more practical, mercurial scale. Because Hermit is ruled by Virgo, and Virgo is ruled by Mercury. And so, that said, we move into the oracle messages for this reading before my voice goes out, because I'm getting quite sore throat right now. You have card number 23. It's the Rats. And this is a lot about discord and strife and difficulties and problems that keep cropping up and sabotage of certain things and having people take things that are important to you from that. The rat is also smart, and it's about kind of like being smart in order to navigate a harsh terrain or a harsh environment. But in this, I see it's just like, I'm getting that, quote from, I think it was the Avengers. It's like, I don't want peace, I want problems, That's kind of what's happening. So whatever you're having problems with, you're putting that completely to rest with the Coffin. And if I'm not mistaken, Aries also had that, or something similar in their reading, where they had the Death card, and they were putting something to rest completely. So in your case, all of the problems, all of the issues, all the chaos that you've had to deal with, you want a full out end to them, a complete cessation of those issues in your life. And for you, it's going to take a bit of effort. You do have a long path that you need to wander in order to get that. But of course, all who wander are not lost. In fact, what you're trying to do now is wander so that you can find yourself again. That's going to be the challenge for you, but you'll make it. Anyways, this has been Aluminum Tarot. Thanks so much for joining for this reading today for the sign of Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. If you like what you see here, follow the 3 rules. Number 1, be sure to give a like, share, subscribe, ding that notification bell so you don't miss any updates from future postings. And furthermore, follow rule number 2 by following rule number 1. And if you want to add a little extra, feel free to add a little extra in the PayPal link in the description box below. You can even send a super chat out, although I haven't used any of those yet. Number 3, block the spammers, the scammers, the scallywags that are plaguing the tarot community today. Anyways, I'm going to leave it at there. I need to take a break and a rest. Thanks so much, and until next time, love and light. Bye, guys.